Hello guys, welcome back to Garage Football. Is our live preview for England against France in the quarterfinal of the 2022 World Cup. So we'll talk about the brilliant form of Kylian Mbappe, form of both teams, how we can attack the French, what starting 11 we should go for, any changes from the previous games, and finally our score predictions. So if you're new around here, subscribe to Garage Football for more football content. And let us know your thoughts in the live chat, or if you're watching later in the comments below, it'd be great to read those. So got a bunch of guests tonight, so thanks all you guys for joining. So we've got Jack, Dennis, Wiz, and Charles. So thanks lads for all joining. So you guys looking forward to it? Jack, do you want to go first?
Yeah, very much so, mate. I think we're coming off the back of that mad result that we just had. And for anyone watching later, obviously Brazil getting knocked out. I think, especially for me, I don't know do with the lads or anyone watching, I think we all had Brazil to potentially get at least the semis or the final in this competition. But I think that's a reality check for a lot of the big teams as well. And even a plus point for England going into tomorrow's night's game. Anyone can be beaten as long as you put the shift in, put the work in as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. Especially when a team like that, whether that be in the FA Cup or the League Cup or Champions League, or does that matter as well? A team like that gets knocked out, then I think it rises the expectation levels of the players as well, and I think it gives them a massive boost going into tomorrow night's game.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And Dennis, obviously, this is what most people would think this quarterfinal would be, like England top our group, France top their group, eventually meeting the quarters. But you looking forward to it? All right, we'll come back to Dennis. Where's you looking forward to then, mate?
I can't wait. I actually watching Brazil. I think, I'm not going to say I think I'm getting older. I'm definitely old, and I watched it and I felt something I didn't think I'd feel, which is I'm sort of sad to see Brazil go out on penalties to Croatia. I sort of feel the World Cup has lost something there. I think they were a lot of fun, and they were the most fun team in the tournament by quite a distance. And I think tomorrow could be incredible. I think it could be really outrageous. But it'll be absolutely fascinating. I can't wait. And I think really going back to the Croatia game at the beginning of the Euros, it's been hard to call what Southgate will do. And I don't know. My instinct is he'll go for five at the back. Because I think his instincts are fundamentally conservative. But yeah, I cannot wait. It's really going to be their kind of superstar attack, I think, against our organisation, preparation, defensive coaching. Yeah, so it should be really, really good.
Yeah, nice one. And Charles, I assume you're the same as all of us?
Yeah, it's just going to be a great game, isn't it? Two sort of juggernauts in the world of football going at it, and one of the best players in the world, and to be honest, one of the best, two of the best youngsters in the world, on form at least, for both teams. So yeah, it'll just be a great game, and looking forward to delving into it a little bit deeper.
Nice. I didn't realise Jordan Henderson was the best in the world. So Dennis, now you're
he's so young as well.
Yeah. Now you're in Nets back. Are you looking forward to it tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely. So like, with ultimate respect to Morocco, who I think have played absolutely fantastic, don't get me wrong, we're now at the bit where all the heavyweights are there. And for example, like Spain, you would have expected to have beaten Morocco. But ultimately, I think the crown and the jewel of this batch of fixtures is England versus France. I know there's a big game on tonight, Holland versus the Argentines. But this is the match that I think the whole world wants to see. And especially now Brazil is out, it means now that, the winner of this, or Portugal, Morocco, suddenly is going to be up against a team that they, isn't so monstrously overwhelmingly favoured. So that's why I'm thinking now that, this game actually is a lot more important. And yeah, really looking forward to it, and hoping that even if it does end in heartache, that it's a good game and not a drab affair with two teams scared to attack.
Yeah, bang on, mate. What he said. Couldn't agree more. So, right, let's talk about the former guide for both sides. A bit of a mixed bag from both teams. So, Wiz, from what you've seen of England and France, what have you made of both sides in this competition so far?
I think if England win tomorrow, they're favourites for the World Cup. And I don't say that because of their form, because I don't think they've been absolutely incredible all the way through. I think USA, they were maybe the lesser side. I think we should have probably conceded early against Senegal, what we should have. So I think actually that might fall Southgate's hand. France have conceded in every game. So, yeah, I think, and they're not a really kind of swashbuckling, total football, throw everyone forward. They don't do that. They don't press that well. They're not like a really super progressive side. So, yeah, I think it's going to be at some point someone's form is going to break tomorrow. Our sort of defensive solidity and a bit of luck is going to break, or France's attack is going to not function the way it's been functioning and create massive amounts, because their front three dwarf our biggest creative talents, and that's just been Mbappe by far the exceptional creative talent in the World Cup so far. Griezmann's been brilliant, and Dembele would certainly, in terms of his creation numbers and his shot creation numbers, would get into our team. So yeah, hard. I mean, I don't want to give away a prediction yet. I think you want to come on to that, but yeah, it's incredibly difficult to call, I think, and it's going to be really, really tactical, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll see how it goes. I think apart from the America game, I think we've got better as this tournament's gone on. Like, me, Charles, and Dennis, we watched the game together, the Wales game, and we absolutely hammered them. But Wales were, you could put us three in midfield and would have beaten Wales that night. Obviously, Senegal, I think we were lucky to take the lead, but once we did take the lead, I thought we were outstanding for the rest of the game and completely shut the game out. But we've got to go another step above and beyond that to beat France, I think, tomorrow. Jack, what you've made of England and France so far?
Yes. I've got to mention a player that I absolutely love and I wish he'd come to Liverpool. Tchouaméni, the Real Madrid youngster. He's probably been one of the players of the tournaments. And you understand why Liverpool were after him. I tell you what, he would have revolutionised Liverpool's midfield if we actually got him. But at the base of that six, and even Adrien Rabiot, being probably out of favour at Juventus over the last 12 months, really, was being linked with Manchester United, and the summer window just gone. And it's for England, as the lads have already alluded to, grinding out results. This is what it is all about in a knockout football. And as we watch Croatia this evening, wasn't the best performance, but it got the job done, really. Squeaked over the line, and when you get to like the quarters and semi-finals, it's all needs be. It doesn't have to be a 5-0 thrumping victory for England. I think you just got to be clever. I think really clever in the right areas. Obviously, I think Kyle Walker this week talked about, of course, the quality, but in Kylian Mbappe. But I think this England side, in every asset in terms of defence, midfield, and attack, we've got so much quality. We can very much hate this French side. Considering obviously the young under 21 period, under 19 period for English football all those years ago, we were they won the World Cup as well at a young age. So the depth in quality from every age in England, it's building up, and it's very much hopefully going to be all for this, be for the moments like this against France, and hopefully get us into the semi-finals.
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. And Dennis, as I say, we were there together. Me, you, and Charles watched the Wales game. Obviously, seen all the England games, and you've watched France a fair bit as well. I mean, what have you made of both teams so far?
Honestly, with France, you take Mbappe out of that side, I don't think they beat Poland. Poland were the better team in the first half, and as soon as they had to, I know he's one of the they had to chase the game, but Poland should have scored before France. Giroud is very good, don't get me wrong, but he's not getting the same sort of service that he's used to. As I said in my World Cup preview on this channel, Bill, the loss of Pogba in France's midfield is ridiculous. He's a completely different animal.
Yeah, and Kante as well, obviously.
Yeah, but there's one player that people are not talking about because everyone's focusing on Mbappe and Giroud. For me, is Dembele on the other wing, because the more you focus on Mbappe, the likelihood of us not doubling up then on Dembele, and then France will, in the end, dictate the play towards him.
Starting to get his form back, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's where that's my worry with France, is actually underestimating certain other players. Also, Griezmann was abysmal against Poland, but so as a result, he will now put in an absolute top class performance against us.
Yeah, you've jinxed it now, mate.
Yeah, because of that. That's how life works. You know, it's like we were saying earlier about Neymar being struggling on the pitch, yet he's the one that pops up with a goal. You know,
Yeah.
But yeah, France aren't anywhere near as good as they were in 2018. I'd argue they're not as good as they were at Euro 2020 when the mighty Switzerland shithoused them to penalties. But so this is what I'm saying. I think England are quite good. It's just you've got to make sure that we're disciplined, because in the World Cup semi-final against Croatia, we lost discipline and lost our formation and let them attack us, and that's where we lost it. You know, we've been defensively great so far, but look at Brazil. Brazil hadn't had anyone tough, and they got totally nullified by Croatia. Vice versa with us, we've been solid defensively, but we've not really come up against anyone really thorough in attack like the French are.
Yeah.
So, form often goes out the window, but I just, France were not good against Poland. Mbappe bailed them out.
Yeah, nice one. All right, coming to you, Charles, finally for this one. So, would you say it's an evenly matched game, or France slightly favourites with their, some of their better performances, or is it just evenly matched, or form goes out the window at this stage of the competition?
I'd say that both teams are really evenly matched. I'd say obviously France have quite a few key injuries already to their squad, and they've managed to do well without those injuries so far. As Dennis mentions, Mbappe is not the only dangerous player they have still. But England have proven this. I think this year more than any other year, even compared to last year, just how formidable we are. In terms of the depth of quality that we have.
Yes. Frightening, isn't it?
It is frightening, and we seem to be gelling it together, which is something the golden generation couldn't do. They couldn't quite figure out how to play with each other effectively.
But you got to manage. Sorry, Charles, but you got a manager who actually wants to utilise the bench.
No, exactly, and that's for all the negatives that come up about Southgate, he knows how to get the best out of this team.
Yeah, definitely.
Was obviously unfortunate last year with penalties. Maybe made a few dodgy substitutions that game as well. But other than that, I mean, he knows how to get the best out of this team. Obviously, formation will be interesting. Apparently, it's making the rounds at the moment on social media that he's got this epic stop Mbappe plan that he's ready to put into action. So it'll be interesting to see whether that entails having a back five or whether it means doubling up on Mbappe, whatever it is. But yeah, I think if you look at the form coming into the game, I think Poland, I think they were lucky to get through as far as they did, to be honest. I thought they were pretty woeful all World Cup, and they only really got the consolation goal right at the end of the game against France. So I don't think that's strong form, but France dispatched them well. And same you can say for England. I think we played pretty poorly in those, well, at least very slow in those first 20-30 minutes of the Senegal game. But once we kind of found our footing, we demolished them, as we probably should have done on paper. And so I think that brings the teams quite evenly together for this sort of matchup, which is great. But yeah, I think the only way England, well, not the only way, but I think one of the best ways that England have to win the game is obviously being defensively strong, which we have been thus far this tournament. But also, moving the ball quicker through those channels, moving the ball quicker in those thirds. That first half an hour of the Senegal game was quite worrying, actually. I was quite anxious because we were being too slow, and Senegal were pressing us and keeping a good defensive shape. And if France want to learn from that game, all they have to do is just press us and press people like Harry Maguire or John Stones, who aren't as sort of quick and nimble on the ball as the Bellinghams, etc. So I think it's a really, really tight game to call. Certainly wouldn't be having a bet on it, that's for sure. But yeah, it's going to be a great game from a neutral perspective, and hopefully England have enough quality and depth to get the victory and move on to the next stage.
Yeah, no, bang on, mate. You know, it's led nicely. You've already answered the next question. So, how can we attack France? So, I won't come to you for this round. You've already answered your bit, mate. So, but we'll get actually before we go around, just go to the chat quickly. So, thanks, Mandy. So, hi everyone. I think France will either turn it on and put 4 past us, or we'll take a hard-fought 2-1 win. Well, I think we all certainly hope it's the latter. Thanks, Mandy. I don't think I've seen France high presser. Yeah, I think you said that was it, didn't you? All right, so yeah, how can we attack France? So I mean, Dennis mentioned it earlier. All of us have mentioned it about Poland. I mean, how I think pretty mediocre they were at this tournament. That's to put it kindly. But even so, they created a number of chances against France. And you'd like to think if Kane or Rashford or Foden, whoever's on the pitch, if they had those chances, we would have buried them. So we've got every chance against this French defence. And Lloris has been shaky for years now.
The main problem that Poland had is whenever they got the ball in, because France were really weak at them getting, to paraphrase John Barnes, getting round the back, to get that reference in there. But the problem was that Lewandowski was such a known threat. They absolutely marked him out of every single cross. And other than Lewandowski, they didn't really have much of a physical presence going forward. England don't have that problem in effect, because you'll have Henderson, Rice, Bellingham in there running in from midfield, who, ironic coming from me, are substantially taller than the Polish midfielders that were coming in. They were all sub 5'9", So yeah, the that's what it is. It's basically cutting in behind and getting balls in the back. And I think Foden with Shaw on the overlap would definitely be able to do that down our left, their right. To great effect. I mean, there's question marks over the French fullbacks so far. Like, as to I couldn't actually tell you who their starting fullbacks are these days.
Koundé, because it's Pavard. He's out of favour with him and Deschamps had an argument or something like that.
Yeah, for me, it's still Willy Sagnol and Lizarazu from the mid-2000s. So, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, sorry, I know of Patrice Evra, by the way, as well. Another French left back. But no, so that's where I say we attack him, is on the wing play. And as a result, we'll come on to one later where there's one controversial. If I were to make one change, it would be controversial. But we'll touch on that later.
Save that in a minute. Yeah.
Save that.
All right, cool. Great stuff, Dennis. And Jack, do you agree with that? We exploit the wide areas where France on paper look a bit weak out there?
Yeah, very much so. Koundé, not his natural position. Obviously, prior to his time in Sevilla as well, he's predominantly more of the central position anyway that he favours. But even flood the midfield as well. We've seen, obviously, England were very blessed now that we got such technical players. You look at Foden, potentially, if he's going to be playing on the wide left, or you can play him in the middle, Grealish as well, if you need so. So, yeah, it's... I don't want to start on Henderson. But, yeah, he can do a job, but it's whether... I'd say potentially flood the midfield as much as you possibly can, try and control it. But I just say, I'm just open tomorrow. Yes, we've got to be reassured defensively, but I'd just like us to try and express ourselves, because we've got, even when you've been looking at subs this competition, look at the likes of Rashford coming off the bench, Foden when needs be, Grealish as well, Callum Wilson as well.
Yeah.
So we've got very much a case of players that come off the bench, and that's what disappointed me the most coming off the back of that Euros final. Yes, we went 1-0 up, and I think if we just went at Italy, they would have absolutely folded like a sixpence, really. But I'm open, matey. Obviously, you've got to go a bit more reassured, but I'd say potentially flood the midfield as much as you possibly can. But it's going to be a very physical battle, but I think it'd be very instrumental. Jude Bellingham, I think if we are to come away from this game tomorrow, I think he's got to be our man of the match, really, just controlling that midfield, getting stuck in, and especially breaking that line, most importantly, of that French back line.
Yeah, 100%. Bellingham's probably been our best player at this tournament so far. He's been sensational. So, Wiz, obviously you're a big football manager, player like me and Dennis are. If you're in charge tomorrow, how would you be attacking, positive, balanced, counter, or where would you attack this French backline?
My instinct is always to play 4-3-3, but in this case, I'd play 5 at the back against them. Basically, because I don't think they can stop us creating chances, even if we've got a fairly limited attack. I don't fancy Rabiot and Tchouaméni to be positionally disciplined enough to negate things like Kane dropping off, which I think he's amazing at. Bellingham, I would agree, is the biggest creative force in the team, him and Luke Shaw. And I think against Senegal, it was kind of, as soon as we broke through them, they looked incredibly suspect through that kind of left half space, the left channel. And I do not, it sounds like I don't fancy any of the French players, but Koundé, I think it's absolutely right. He's not an orthodox right back. It's very different playing that for Barca, where he's played half the games at right back. Well, you can do that in La Liga when you've got Gavi and Pedri taking the mickey out of everybody. But it's very, very different when we don't have 75% possession. So I just think, could he get drawn out of position? And I think, ironically, for a centre-back playing at right-back, I wonder if he's kind of, his reputation around being a ball carrier and a progressor as a centre-back. I wonder if that might work against him. And I wonder if he might take chances. And bear in mind, Bellingham through that kind of left channel, Shaw on the overlap, especially freed up being a wing-back. And I don't know who will play. I think everyone loves Foden. I wonder if he'll play Rashford. Because I just think that part of the pitch is their weakness by a substantial distance. So I don't know. But yeah, I think that's where they can be got at, basically.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about. We won't talk about all our 11s because I think we'll all have different ones. But just to make things a bit easier, we'll talk about if we'll make any changes to the lineup from the last game, obviously we beat Senegal, and if we'll make any formation changes. So we'll go with Jack. Would you keep it the same against France? Would you make any changes?
Yeah, just quickly get it up here, mate. I'd go with a 4-3-3. I understand where the lads are coming from with 5 at the back. But potentially we do go 5 at the back, of course. I'd say drop Henderson and obviously put one of the centre halves. It's whether you go with Kyle Walker in that centre back area or if you put him out more further wide and then bring obviously one of the but who comes in that central area for me. The lads will probably fill me in a bit more. But yeah, I'd say potentially bring out. I'd agree with Wizard in terms of bringing Rashford on. I'd like to see him, but you need legs, don't you, against French? So yeah, ideally I'd drop Henderson, put Foden in the middle, just have Foden in front of Rice and Bellingham. Be a bit more that floater behind the back line. Well, Harry Kane and Saka, but yeah, potentially Henderson dropping out, mate. I would, and then obviously bring Rashford in. Unleash Rashford especially he's probably been playing the best form he's had in the last couple of seasons as well, mate.
Yes, man reborn. This is great to see from an England point of view. So Charles, will come to you. Would you change anything for tomorrow?
No, I'd keep it the same as the Senegal game. I think Foden probably didn't. Well, I mean, he's still had a decent game, but I think he's got better games in him. And same with Saka. I thought Saka in the first half wasn't that great, and then second half he was back to his brilliant self again. So both are going to be devastating in any form of counter attack or any form of attack really. But yeah, no, I agree with Jack that we keep it 4-3-3. I can see this game. I mean, if France and England set up like they did the last games, I can see honestly it being such a nervous game for both teams because both teams are going to be looking to counter, and both teams could be looking to sort of get on the mistakes of the opposition. And I think that's where the goal's going to come from. It's going to come from individual errors or mistakes that anyone ends up making. So it's going to be a really tough game. But in terms of changes, I think you've got to keep it. Probably for both teams, you'd want to keep it as they were from their last games.
Yeah, nice one. Okay, well, Jack, I know you got to go, mate, because you got your watch along Netherlands Argentina as we have in a minute. So before you go, could you just quickly give your score prediction, mate?
1-0 England win on pens. Happy days.
No, we'll settle for that.
Well, thank you very much, Bill. And it's been great to speak to you lads as well. And hopefully we get the result tomorrow. And I'll see a good game of football. But have a lovely rest of your weekend, boys. And
you too. Thanks for coming on, mate.
See you, mate.
See you, mate. Thanks for Jack for coming on. He's Jack's channel Anfield Road TV is really, really good. So links in the description below if you haven't subbed to him already. So we'll go back to the our starting predictions. So Dennis, would you change anything?
I'd have virtually everything the same personally, and there's someone out there that will probably be laughing at this, but I would still start Henderson. He did play very well against Senegal. This doesn't mean that he is twice the player Declan Rice is, just to put that out there. But I would, Wizard beat me to it. I would play Rashford ahead of Foden on the left. Because I just feel his pace and getting in behind will help us undo France's defence. As much as I know everyone's clamouring for Foden to play, and he has played well when he has played, I mean, he'd be one of the first substitutes to come on if we need to change things up. And also, I think it'd be a game possibly to use a bit of Grealish's flamboyancy towards the end, especially if it goes to extra time or anything like that. But yeah, that's I would just bring in Rashford for Foden, and that's it.
Yeah, fair enough. To be honest, I would actually I'd keep it the same. I think we've looked pretty comfortable with a back four throughout the tournament. But then again, if Southgate changes it, I wouldn't be against that at all. But I think before the tournament, I wouldn't have had Henderson in my starting lineup. But to be fair to him, he's actually played pretty well. Obviously got the goal against Senegal. But as long as we don't insist on playing from the back all the time, because that's not Henderson's game. If you're going to play Henderson from the start, like with Liverpool, he's a better player on the front foot, getting up with the play rather than playing through. He can do that. He can pass the ball, but he's no Paul Scholes. Do you know what I mean? So he's better with his dynamic sort of running from deep. And obviously, that's where he got the first goal from against Senegal. So, but yeah, I'd actually keep it the same, to be honest with you. But we'll see how it goes. So, Wiz, sorry. We've all said the changes we made, wouldn't we? Okay, great. Well,
I haven't said I'd put in the 5-3-2.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah, go on then, mate.
Well, Trippier at right wing back, and then Walker would slot in at centre back.
Yeah,
probably keep the same midfield three.
Yeah,
and I'd possibly drop Foden and Saka, which is heartbreaking because I really love them, especially Saka. I really like him. I think he's an amazing player defensively as well. I think his intelligence for his age is incredible. And I also have a feeling for Grealish as well. I wonder if he'll come on and absolutely emasculate Rafael Varane at some point, because I think he's got a mistake in him. We haven't seen a big one yet from Varane. So yeah, I'd quite like it to be against Grealish for the winner. So that'd be nice. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. All right. Well, thanks for your time, lads. So we'll just finish off with our score predictions. So, Wiz, back to you, mate.
I think England will win 3-1.
3-1. I'll settle for that. Nice one, Charles. Oh, it looks like he's in there. It's down. Dennis.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 1-0 England. Bad.
Yes.
or 1-0 or 5-4.
5-4.
Like Bradford style. Grealish is going to sit down and say, "I'm not playing anymore."
I'd probably say 2-1 after extra time. I think this is going past the 90 minutes and will be resolved hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think. Yesterday I did have France to win on penalties, but after what happened earlier tonight with Croatia and Brazil, I think it'd be a draw 1-1 and then England winning extra time 2-1. So, but we all think England will win. So as long as one of us, well,
it's all going to be wrong.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll be all right or wrong. Okay, great. Well, nice one, lads. Thanks for joining. And come on, England, as we should say. So. All right, great. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe to Catch Football if you're new. And we're going to go live shortly for the Netherlands-Argentina watch-along. So come and join us for that. We'll see you in a bit. Thanks. Bye-bye.